So I know that the title might sound, let's say, interesting to some people, but I'm starting this YouTube channel because I want to be transparent. I want to be myself fully, and I don't want to be, someone who is going to shrink themselves just to make others comfortable. So even though some things that I might say on here might not be something that people want to hear upright, I do want to say that I'm a very honest person. I'm not the brutally honest disguised as a jerk kind of person, but I am honest. And I want to share my opinions with the people out there, and I want to see if some of you guys think the same as me, or have some different kind of views. And I want to discuss topics about people. So this video is going to be mainly from my perspective, what I have encountered so far, and of course some things that are just general knowledge, but shared through me. So I am confident. Deal with it. Is the type of video that I was really looking forward to recording. First off, I want to say that there is a huge difference between someone who is genuinely confident and someone who is arrogant. And one thing is that people who are insecure don't seem to know the difference, and they do think that one is the same as the other, because when they wear the mask of confidence, the only thing they know how to do is to be arrogant. And that's why they do think that, when someone is presenting themselves as confident, they think it's arrogance, because that's the only thing they know. When it's actually not. It's very, very much different. So, if I go and say, oh yes, I know that I'm good looking, I know that I'm smart, I know that I'm, awesome, people usually perceive that as arrogance, because for some reason people are not used to others hyping themselves up and genuinely believing themselves when they say like, oh, I am like, smart or good looking. For some reason, I've noticed that people cannot comprehend that some other people are actually, aware of the fact that they see themselves in this, positive light. And I find it so weird because, especially those people, they tend to attack the ones that are, confident the most. That's why you see on TikTok and on generally internet, all these people saying like, oh, you can't even hype yourself anymore because, someone is going to come around and try to humble you. Or, just you post a good picture of yourself and then, you hear people say like, oh, she thinks she's all that and stuff like that. And there's nothing we can actually do about it. We just have to let those people be their insecure selves. But I really do hate the fact that, they have to come out and try and humble people that are actually confident. Because I've met a lot of people who are insecure, of course, but it is some people are out there going out of their way to try and humble others, while other people are, just insecure, but, they're kind of they're a bit, shy, quiet, trying to build themselves up. And I have nothing against faking confidence, as long as it does not go into the arrogance. But people who are insecure, even when they try to fake the confidence, it's not going to be easy, because at every corner you're going to have people humbling you. So let's take, for example, someone who is insecure and is not confident in themselves. they're trying to build up the confidence, fake it till you make it. I really do believe that that is true, not only for confidence, but like for most things in life. But we're talking about confidence here. Fake it till you make it. And, they're faking it. They're trying to make it. And then, they have people around them say like, oh, she thinks she's all that, or like, who do you think you are? That is going to just put more blockages onto their path to actually gaining confidence. Because, especially those people, when, they're trying to build themselves up, they need people who are going to, reaffirm that for them. Like, when they say, oh, I look good, if they want to really build up that confidence, they need people around them who are going to hype them up instead of people tearing them down. So, that's why I really do think that people should just focus on themselves. And unfortunately, we're getting a rise in people who are not minding their business and are just looking to comment on other people in any sort of way, whether it be appearance, their life, their money, their work, whatever. But as for me, I would say that I am pretty confident. Of course, I was not born with it. I was working on myself, really working on myself. And obviously all of that work paid off, and I'm the kind of person today who can confidently say, I love myself, I know I'm beautiful, I know I'm smart. And it's so funny because I use that as a sort of filter to filter out people who are meant to stay in my life and people who are not meant to stay in my life. And I think, you guys and everyone else should be doing that, because I'm going to give you a couple of examples of the sort of people that I have been coming across in my life so far. So it's 2020. I was 18. I met this new group of people, and the girl that I was really close to was 2 years younger than me, so 16. And, like, I know how I was at 16, so like I understand that, people are different. And I understood at that time that, she is yet to grow up and mature more. And when we were friends, we would hang out regularly. Like, she would be a good friend most of the times. But then she would make these little, like, passive-aggressive comments that were like jokes, And the thing that she attacked the most is my style. My style is pretty much, I would say, the same. I usually go for that business casual. Maybe I was leaning to more like dark academia when I was younger, but just like turtlenecks, pants, Oxford shoes, coat. She was more on a, like, let's say, street style at that time. So it's like big hoodies, oversized trousers, beanies, and just, that style. So totally different. And then, she would just randomly come up to me one day when we were at this friend's house hanging out, and she would be like, oh my gosh, Andrea, you have no idea how to style yourself. And I was like, what do you mean by that? And she was like, well, your style is awful. I just cannot believe how you wear turtlenecks all the time. Like, how do you not get bored of it? You should buy some oversized hoodies and some oversized pants or trousers. Like, look at me. You should learn something from me. You obviously don't know how to dress. I am the type of person who is going to confront you right on. My brain is working all the time. There is not a time that someone can say something like this or any sort of comment and it will go unnoticed. Like, that never happens. So, I was like, okay, she is 16, I am 18. I was trying to be like understanding, so I was like, you know what, just because our styles are different does not mean that I do not know how to dress. Your style is something that you like. Me personally, I don't. I used to dress like that when I was 14 and 15. But after a while, I developed my style, and this is my style. So just because it's different does not mean it's bad, and does not mean that I do not know how to dress. And she was like, well, yeah, but yeah, okay, like, yeah, you're right. But, you know, just like, you should experiment. Like, and I was like, don't worry about me. Like, just don't worry about me. And, you know, that first comment did not sit right with me. And then another time, which was like fairly, I would say, close to the timeline of when she actually told me the first thing, I think it was like a month or two after, we went to that friend's house again for like, because he was hosting like those house parties, and like a bunch of us would gather, and both of us went to him at the same time. So, you know, she saw my outfit. It was cold. I had a jacket on. She had a jacket on, but it was unzipped. So she saw my outfit and she did not say anything. But when he opened the door to greet us, she said in front of him, "Oh my gosh, Andrea, you're always in the turtlenecks. Why are you not dressing up nicely?" I will insert pictures of how I used to dress. But like, you know, she did not say anything when we were alone. She said it in front of the guy. Well, my video got dark for a second there, so I had to pull up my lighting. But thank God he did not like react in any way that she was expecting. He added some comment like, "Oh, why are you commenting on her like stuff when you are the one who always looks like a homeless person?" Something like that. It was quite funny. But anyways, you know, she would throw in some comments like that, and like, you know, I never knew where this was coming from. I mean, now I know. And you know, she is really, really insecure, and she never really grew up. Even when we stopped being friends, she was literally the same person as she was at 16 at the time when we stopped being friends, when she was 20. So literally 4 years passed by and she stayed the same, which is, I don't know, weird. But you know, people will try to attack you for those little things, try to humble you at every single step. And I think it's really important to develop that feeling of not really, you know, giving a fuck about what other people are thinking. Also, the most recent interactions I had regarding, you know, my confidence and my self-worth is, I wouldn't call this girl a friend, let's say an acquaintance. I try to be friends with her, but you know, after this little thing that happened, I was like, no. So basically, the company that I used to work for was hosting this like huge event, which is like a gala night. So I ordered this really, really sexy dress, and you know, I went there, I looked good, and of course, whenever I can, I like to show people the dress, and like, I mean, me in the dress. But you know, it's just, you know, I was looking so good. Like, how can I not like show other people and like be like, oh my god, this dress is so good, I look good. And you know, I sent her the image. I told her like the dress was so good, and she was like, send me the image. I sent her the image, and she was like, wow, yeah, actually, like, it's so fucking sexy. And I was like, I know, right? I look so fucking good. That's the message that I wrote. So I did not write, oh yeah, I'm the prettiest, I'm the best, no one is like on my level. No, I never say things like that. But on that message, I said, yeah, I look so fucking good, you know? And then, and then she literally sent me a message back saying, oh, you shut up. That's not something that you should be saying. It's something other people should be telling you. Hello? Like, what the fuck? Like, when you're talking with people, in the moment, I understand if, they're thinking about something and their filter does not work, so they say something that they meant to filter out. But like, she sent a message, so she thought about it. She wrote it, typed it down, read the message, and hit send. That's like 3 conscious actions, which means that her saying that is a fully conscious decision. And I was like, holy heck, like, what? I looked at that message and I was like, did I read this right? Like, what's happening? And then, of course, as I said, confrontation is my second nature. So, of course, I replied something along the lines of like, oh, of course, I know I look good because, everyone else was saying it. And something along those lines. I don't really remember. I would put the screenshots, but it's in my native language and I want my YouTube channel to be in English. But yeah, crazy interaction. And then another interaction with the same girl where I was like, let me test the waters a bit, let me pull up this topic. And then, I told her how it's funny when insecure people are telling others like, oh, she thinks she's all that and stuff like that. And she literally sent me like a voice message back saying like, oh, I don't think people who say that are like insecure. I just think they're calling out the other person's bullshit. Like, no. Like, why do you have the need to say, oh, she's all that when someone is hyping themselves? Like, if they are being arrogant, if they cannot back up what they're saying, I would totally understand calling someone out. Like, I would be the first person to do that. But like, I clarified to her, when I was sending my voice message, that when a confident person is hyping themselves up and another person comes in and says, oh, she thinks she's all that person is insecure, you cannot change my mind. You cannot. And no one will change my mind. And she literally told me like, oh no, I don't think like that's insecurity. I just think that they're calling that like person's bullshit out. I have like a lot of instances where, people were humbling me, giving me like these little comments or being passive aggressive. But like with this girl, it's the first time that someone like outright said to me like, oh, shut up, it's not something that you should be saying. I was so surprised because, as I said, no one was so upright with me. Like, the audacity is crazy. I do think that people need to hype themselves up more and not care about what other things. Like, I love when I scroll on TikTok and I see a hot girl saying thing like, oh yeah, I'm the hottest. Like, yes, bitch, you are. Like, you should be saying stuff like that. Like, you should be reaffirming, everything, your brain, your nervous system, with positive thoughts and positive words, of course. So I do think that, how we view ourselves is the most important. And, I always say this because my mother taught me, but I have eyes, I have a mirror. I can see that I look good. And even though it's nice to get like thumbs up and validation from others who are just, confirming that I do indeed look good, at the end of the day, I literally do not need anyone else to tell me anything about myself because, I can see, And, I'm not saying like I'm a Miami 10, but what is important that to me, I am pretty. And of course, as I said, throughout my life, it has been shown that, you know, not only am I pretty to myself, but I'm pretty to other people. So, you know, that just reaffirms and confirms the fact that I'm pretty. And not only that, when it comes to, you know, work, when it comes to my intelligence, like whenever I set my mind to, I get that. You know, when it comes to work, I'm very ambitious. So, you know, I always get what I want. And I think that, you know, me being confident has a lot to do with it. Because, you know, if someone was not confident in their skills about, let's say, a work, they're not going to apply for a position that, you know, they're not a perfect candidate for. Let's be real. Like, companies these days are fucking crazy. Like, they are searching for a unicorn. Like, no one is going to be a perfect for a certain job unless the company is actually like looking for, you know, realistic standards. But most of the time they're not. So, you know, someone not having the confidence to apply for a certain job, you know, it's just them losing on a chance. And I think I've come so far in my life, as I said, mostly with the fact that I'm confident and that I know that. Although I have to say, I do think that, you know, I hold so much power and that I'm only aware of it, I would say maybe like 30%. Like the 70% of, you know, what I'm capable of is still, you know, locked, and I would love it to like control it, but, you know, I'm just still mastering myself and everything. But as I said, not only me, but, you know, most people, I think that, you know, even the confident ones, you know, a lot of people are actually like not aware of how much more they can be and they can give. So that's why I always like to work on myself, and I will never stop, because we are learning something new every day, and we are going to learn, you know, throughout our whole lives. And especially when it comes to yourself, I have been doing a lot of healing in 2025, especially after my breakup with a loser who was very much possibly a narcissist. So, of course, during the years in the relationship, my confidence was doing this. And right now, you know, after healing and everything, my confidence is steadily going up and being, you know, consistent. So, of course, not to say that I'm perfect. I'm not, although my definition of perfect is different, but we can dive into that in another video. But, you know, I think it's important to, you know, even when you have those low days, you still go out and try and give your best. Of course, sometimes bed rotting is necessary, but I do think that it is important to not give up on ourselves and to just, you know, try our best. This is my first video. I can yap for a long time, and, you know, I'm really excited about this YouTube channel. Yeah, I'm curious to see what do you guys think about all of that. How would you say you feel about yourself? Do you feel like you're confident enough? Do you feel like you need to work on it? Have you ever encountered people with, you know, audacity, or who were trying to humble you or bring you down? What are your experiences regarding that? What did you say back? Did you say back anything at all? And, you know, just share your thoughts and your opinions. This YouTube channel is going to be unapologetically me. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys think. Of course, as every YouTuber would say, like and subscribe, and thank you for watching.